Have you ever felt like you're falling behind? Like somehow everyone else got the money memo, except you? You open social media and it feels like every 22-year-old is driving a Ferrari, every 28-year-old is running a seven-figure business, and every 30-year-old is apparently retiring on a private island with a laptop and a green juice. And if you're being honest, it can mess with your head. You look at your own bank account, your debt, your paycheck, your savings, and suddenly it feels like you're losing a race you never even agreed to run. But here's the truth. Most people are not living the life they post online. Most people do not have an eye-popping net worth. And most importantly, comparing yourself to billionaires, influencers, or internet flex culture is one of the fastest ways to feel discouraged for no reason. Comparing your finances to Elon Musk or Warren Buffett is like comparing your backyard garden to the Amazon rainforest. It's not just unfair, it's completely irrelevant. So today, we're cutting through the noise. No fake guru energy, no rented Lamborghinis, no motivational fluff. Just real numbers, real benchmarks, and real perspective. We're going to look at what the average person in America actually has, broken down by age. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how you can use those numbers the right way, not to shame yourself, but to measure progress, make smarter decisions, and build wealth over time. Because the goal isn't to impress strangers on the internet. The goal is freedom. Now, before we get into the age brackets, we need to clear up one of the biggest misconceptions in personal finance. A lot of people hear the words net worth and assume it just means income. It doesn't. Not even close. Your salary is what you make. Your net worth is what you keep. And that difference matters a lot. Here's the simplest way to think about it. Net worth is what you own minus what you owe. That's it. On one side, you have your assets. These are the things you own that have value. That could include cash in your bank account, money in your retirement account, stocks, real estate, your car, or even a business you own. On the other side, you have your liabilities. These are your debts. Things like a mortgage, student loans, car loans, personal loans, and credit card balances. So if you add up everything you own and then subtract everything you owe, what's left is your net worth. And this is where a lot of people get tripped up, because owning something expensive does not automatically make you wealthy. For example, let's say your home is worth $500,000. Sounds impressive, right? But if you still owe $300,000 on the mortgage, then the amount that's actually adding to your net worth is $200,000, not $500,000, $200,000. Same house, very different financial reality. And this is also why income can be misleading. You could make $1 million a year, but if you spend $1 million in one, your net worth is going down. Meanwhile, someone making a fraction of that income could be steadily growing wealth because they save, invest, and avoid lifestyle inflation. So when we talk about getting ahead financially, we're not just talking about how much money comes in. We're talking about how much value you're actually building. That's what net worth measures. It's the scoreboard that tells you whether your financial life is moving forward, standing still, or quietly sliding backward. Now let's talk about the word average, because this is where things get really interesting. If you look at Federal Reserve data, you might see that the average net worth for a U.S. household is nearly $748,800. And if hearing that number made your stomach drop, take a breath, because that headline number is not the full story. That figure is based on the mean average, and in finance, the mean can be wildly distorted by the ultra-wealthy. Here's what that means. If you put a billionaire in a room with 99 regular people, the average wealth in that room skyrockets. On paper, it suddenly looks like everybody in that room is a multimillionaire. But obviously, that's nonsense. The billionaire changed the math, not the reality. That's why when you're trying to understand where you really stand, the number that matters more is the median. The median is the midpoint. It's the person standing right in the middle of the crowd. Half of people have more, half have less. And when you look at the median net worth in the United States, the number comes way down to $121,700. Now that is a much more grounded benchmark. It's still a meaningful number, but it's not fantasy. It's not distorted by private jets, hedge fund empires, or inherited fortunes. It's a real-world snapshot of what the middle actually looks like. And that's important, because if you're going to compare yourself at all, compare yourself to reality, not to outliers, not to internet theater, and not to people whose financial lives are built on totally different circumstances, timelines, or opportunities. So from this point forward, keep this in mind. When we break down net worth by age, the median is the number to pay attention to, because the median gives you perspective, and perspective is powerful. All right, let's break it down by age, because where you should be at 25 is completely different from where you might be at 45 or 65. Life happens in stages, careers develop in stages, investments grow in stages, and wealth building is almost never linear. So if you're in an earlier chapter of life, don't judge yourself by someone else's later chapter. Let's start with people under 35. The median net worth here is $13,900. And if that sounds lower than you expected, you're not alone. A lot of people in this group are just getting started. They're finishing school, entering the workforce, trying to stabilize income, paying rent, maybe dealing with student loans, and figuring out how to manage money for the first time without a safety net. This is usually not the season of massive wealth. This is the season of foundation. And honestly, if you're under 35 and you're building good habits, avoiding high-interest debt, and putting even a little money away consistently, you're doing better than you think. Next up is ages 35 to 44. Here, the median net worth jumps to $91,300. This is often the decade where things begin to solidify. Careers become more stable, income may start climbing. Some people buy their first home. Others start contributing more seriously to retirement accounts. And for many, this is the first time life shifts from pure survival mode into actual financial strategy. That said, this is also a busy and expensive stage of life. Childcare, mortgages, family expenses, insurance, and lifestyle creep can all compete for every extra dollar. So if you're in this bracket, the key isn't just earning more, it's making sure more of what you earn actually turns into assets. Now let's move to ages 45 to 54. The median net worth here rises to $168,600. At this stage, wealth often starts becoming more visible. Why?
Because time finally starts doing some of the heavy lifting. If you've owned a home for a while, you've probably built some equity. If you've been investing consistently, compound growth may finally be showing up in a meaningful way. And if your income has matured, you may now have more room to save and invest than you did a decade earlier. This is also the stage where many people start thinking more seriously about retirement. Not in some vague, one-day kind of way, but in a real, measurable, deadline-driven way. Then we get to ages 55 to 64. This is what I like to call the final sprint before retirement. The median net worth here is $212,500. This is a crucial decade. For many households, peak earning years happen here. Children may be leaving home, big debts may be shrinking, and people begin asking the hard questions. Do I have enough? How long can I work? What will retirement actually cost? This is often the phase where financial discipline matters more than ever, because every dollar you save and invest now has a direct impact on the lifestyle you'll be able to sustain later. Next is ages 65 to 74. This is the peak. The median net worth reaches $266,400. And that makes sense. By this point, many people have spent decades building assets, paying down debt, contributing to retirement accounts, and benefiting from long-term growth. This is the season where the compounding, the consistency, and the patience finally come together. It's not magic, it's time. And then we arrive at age 75 and older. And for the first time, the number dips slightly to $254,800. And you know what? That's okay. In fact, that's normal, because this is the stage where your money is supposed to start working for you. You spent your life building it. Now it's there to support you, to pay for your lifestyle, your healthcare, your comfort, your peace of mind. So if net worth drops a little in this phase, that doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong. It may simply mean the plan is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Now, there's one more statistic in this conversation that is absolutely impossible to ignore. And honestly, it's one of the most jarring wealth gaps in the data. According to the Federal Reserve, homeowners have a median net worth of $255,000. Renters, just $6,300. That is a massive difference. And no, that doesn't mean renters are failing. It means home ownership has historically been one of the most powerful wealth-building tools in America. Why? Because a home can act like an appreciating asset. Over time, the property may increase in value, while your mortgage balance decreases. So instead of sending money out every month with no ownership attached to it, you're gradually building equity. You're converting monthly payments into a financial asset. Now, to be clear, renting is not morally wrong, and for some seasons of life, renting makes perfect sense. It offers flexibility. It may be cheaper in the short term, and depending on the market, it can absolutely be the smarter move for a while. But the bigger lesson here is this. Wealth usually grows when your money starts going into assets, not just expenses. In other words, building net worth usually requires ownership. Ownership of investments, ownership of businesses, ownership of property, ownership of things that can grow in value over time. So if you looked at these numbers and realized you're behind, don't panic. Seriously, do not panic. Net worth is a snapshot. It is not your identity. It is not your worth as a person, and it is definitely not your destiny. It's just a number that tells you where things stand today. And the good news? Numbers can change. So here are 4 practical ways to start moving your number in the right direction. Number 1, prioritize debt, especially high-interest debt. Credit card debt is one of the biggest net worth killers out there. Because while you're trying to build wealth on one side, high interest is quietly draining wealth on the other. So if you want momentum, start there. Pay down the debt that's costing you the most. Free up your cash flow. Give yourself room to breathe. Number 2, buy appreciating assets. Put your money into things that have the potential to grow. That could be broad market index funds. It could be real estate. It could be a business. But the key idea is simple. Don't let every dollar disappear into consumption. Put some of it into places where it can multiply. That's how snowballing really happens. Not through hype, not through lottery thinking, through consistent ownership of assets that compound over time. Number 3, cut the hard work luxuries. This is the stuff we buy because we feel like we earned it, and sometimes maybe we did. But if you're constantly rewarding yourself with things that depreciate, your future self ends up paying the bill. This isn't about never enjoying life, it's about being honest. How many purchases are genuinely improving your life, and how many are just emotional spending in disguise? Small leaks sink big ships, and small habits build big wealth. Number 4, increase the engine. Don't rely only on your 9-to-5 if you have the ability to expand beyond it. Look for ways to increase your main income, build a valuable skill, negotiate better pay, take on strategic side work, create another stream of cash flow. Because the more income you generate, the more fuel you have to save, invest, and accelerate your net worth. And finally, one last thought. Do not get too obsessed with the total number by itself, because net worth without income can still leave a person financially trapped. Someone can have a $10 million lifestyle on paper, expensive cars, a giant house, luxury everything, and still be broke if no money is coming in. Meanwhile, someone with a much smaller net worth, but enough passive income to cover their bills, is in a far stronger position. Why? Because freedom is not just about what you own, it's about what your assets produce. That's the real goal. Not just a bigger number, not just a prettier lifestyle. Freedom. Options, peace, and time. Building wealth is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And more than that, it's a process. A slow, steady, often boring process that rewards patience more than ego. So if you're not where you want to be yet, keep going. Stay consistent. Avoid the comparison trap. Focus on assets. Focus on progress. Focus on the next smart step. Because if you do that long enough, wealth stops feeling impossible and starts becoming inevitable. If this gave you a little more clarity and maybe a little more confidence in your own journey, hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want, drop a comment with your age range and the biggest money lesson you've learned so far. Let's keep building that net worth together. I'll see you in the next one.